morning, and thank you so much for joining us on Daybreak Extra. It is indeed a beautiful morning. It's a Saturday morning, by the way, and the week has come and gone. It was quite should I say a fulfilling? It was a fulfilling, but it was also a busy week from last week, during the general elections up until this time. I think we just had, it's more like we're on the halftime right now, and then, from next week, the elections continue, the governorship elections, continues, and then we might actually not be here on Saturday morning. So we're doing this right now, and it feels good to be back on Daybreak Extra. The weather is kind of humid. So a lot of people have been complaining about the heat. So do whatever you can to make sure that you take care of yourself. And I don't know, try to make your houses as aerated as possible because, in as much as there are lots of conditions that actually come with the cold, there are also lots of conditions that come with the heat. Okay, so I'm Dasha and Hussein Usman, and thank you so much for joining us.
And I am Sumaya Abubakar. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. And to add to what Husseina said, she said, that we should make sure our house is airy. Please always stay hydrated as usual.
Very
and
important.
Yes, it's good to be back, Husseina.
Yes, indeed. And I don't know, the touch of green, was it a plan? Like,
I don't know. There's just this chemistry,
okay,
we can feel it.
Telepathy, yes.
Yeah.
All right, so today on the show we have lots of interesting stuff for you. No, we're not even talking about the entertainment just yet, but then before then we would dive into the newspaper review, and then we'll be talking about diet today. And we also have an artist right here in the studio that we would be, having a chat with. But then we'll take a break and we'll come back for the papers. Stick around.
That's good. Good to see you.
TV, documenting the Nigerian story. necessarily tribal or regional.
All right, welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. It's still Daybreak Extra on Trust TV. Now let's take a look at the papers and what they're saying this morning. Let's take a look at the front pages. We'll start with Daily Trust Saturday. And on Daily Trust Saturday, we have the lead story here that talks about Supreme Court reverses Buhari orders return of old Naira notes. And then we have riders under that that says relieved traders berate federal government. Resign now, APC chieftain tells Emefiele Malami. CBN should comply, Gbaja Biamila and experts actually say. You can find details of that story on page 4. But before you decide to go on to the details, we actually have an infograph of the timeline of the Naira redesign, the announcement of the Naira redesign up until this particular ruling, the Supreme Court's ruling. And on October 26, 2022, CBN announced the introduction of redesigned 200 Naira, 500 and 1,000 Naira notes and gave January 31st as the deadline for swapping the old notes. On January 29, CBN extended the deadline to February 10, 2023. On February 6, Kaduna, Zamfara, Kogi state government sued the federal government and the CBN at the Supreme Court. On February 8, the Supreme Court granted an ex parte application suspending the implementation of February 10 deadline. On February 15, the Supreme Court insisted that it ordered suspending the implementation of the February 10 deadline. On February 16, President Buhari addressed the nation and approved the use of just the old 200 Naira notes alongside other due Naira notes until April 10, 2023. On February 22, the Apex Court adjourned the case to March 3rd for judgment, and then after the elections, which is March 3rd, the Supreme Court ordered the circulation of the old Naira notes alongside the new ones until the end of the year, December 31, 2023. So we have about 10 months for the old notes to actually phase out, which is what a lot of people have actually been clamoring for. Aside that particular story at the top of the page, we have election. Atiku Obi obtain order to inspect INEC materials, and they said APC says we have assembled team of SANs, that's Senior Advocates of Nigeria, to meet them in court. Okay, now it's going to be back to back. All right, so on page 28, how debt-ridden woman burned self after first suicide attempt failed. Really a sad one, and that's our feature story, one of our feature stories. On Nigeria decides 2023, Makinde in the eye of Oyo governorship storm. Details can be found on page 10. And on our cover story, 87 days to go. Buhari races to complete legacy projects. Writers here says showcases Niger Bridge, other legacy projects. BPE must ensure ongoing projects are executed as planned, say CSOs. And you can find these details of the story on pages 5 and 6. These are some of the stories on Daily Trust Saturday.
Okay, we'll move on to the Nation Saturday. And we'll start with the glaring headline there. It says Supreme Court, old Naira notes valid till December 31st. And this is really interesting. Now Nigerians are truly confused on who to follow. Should it be the federal government or the Supreme Court? And the riders there, you'd see old 200 Naira, 500 Naira, 1,000 Naira notes to coexist with new ones. And it says El Rufai, how governors tried to resolve currency crisis behind closed doors. We have the Northwest APC demands resignation of Emefiele and Malami. And also there is nationwide cash crunch lingers as banks shut doors to customers, ATMs idle. You would find all these stories on page 4 of the Nation Saturday. And there's judgment highlights there. As you can see, it says number 1, the demonetization policy is inconsistent with the CBN Act. And the second one says a declaration that the president cannot make a unilateral policy without carrying the plaintiffs along. The third one says in issuing the policy, the president is under an obligation to carry the National Economic Council along. And the last one there says the policy has impeded the functions of state governments. Now, all these stories you find on page 4 on the Nation's newspaper. Let's move to the top of the newspaper. By the right side, you see strange tales from presidential National Assembly elections. The writers there says INEC officials helpless as Beavers rejects identical twins. Also, die-hard Obi supporter collapses over Tinubu's victory. Now, these are really the last one I would say is a sad story, but the identical twins issue. I mean, one had to forgo his own rights, to cast a vote. And on the left side of that, you'd see Obi would go down as Nigeria's most dangerous politician, says APC PCC. The writer there said Keyamo APC to file cross petition contesting votes in Southeast. And we have Atiku Obi gets court's permission to inspect INEC materials. Now this you'd find on page 5 and page 14 of the Nation's newspaper. And lastly there, at the bottom of the page, you see 12 killed in Rivers crude oil explosion. Truly a sad one there. You'd see the story on page 11 of the Nation's. Now these are some of the stories in the Nation newspapers today.
All right, let's take a look at The Guardian on Saturday. And the lead story still talks about the Naira swap policy. Resign now, APC tells Emefiele Malami. And we have writers here that says party accuses CBN Governor, Accountant General of Federation of misleading Buhari. Old notes valid till December 31. Supreme Court rules. Insists President's unconstitutional use of power on the policy breached fundamental rights of Nigerians. Badabiamila, experts applaud judgment, urge immediate compliance. Mixed feelings across states as queues persist in banks. CBN keeps mum. And with that, we'll move on to more of the stories from the top of the page there. Anxiety as NLC backs maritime workers' threat to shut down ports. Now, we also have still on page 3, appeal court grants Atiku Obi leave to inspect election materials. On page 4, Tinubu constitutes legal team to defend mandate. And on Metro Notes, 12 persons die in Rivers oil pipeline explosion. We have just below the big story there, CSO's call for foreign assistance, says elections short of best practice. Details on page 4, and I really don't know what the foreigners would actually, help do, because they actually had observers, and these observers are not allowed to interfere. Just write your reports and your recommendations and then pass it on, and that's it. Now we have on Guardian Music, being a producer gave me more experience on how to sing, and this is attributed to Kel P. And on Guardian Woman, we have Oluremi and Nana, incoming ladies of Aso Villa. There's on page 22, we have open letter to the president by Badebo Rhodes Vivor. He's a Labour Party gubernatorial candidate that's actually gone viral, on social media. So these are some of the stories on the Guardian newspaper.
Okay, we'll move on to Vanguard Saturday, and we'll start from the top. There you'd see the top right, election results. Tinubu constitutes legal team against Atiku and Obi. And a writer there said, Oba of Benin louds his victory. Now this you'd find on page 9 of the newspaper. At the right side of it, you'd see why I want the federal government to release me before Buhari leaves, says Nnamdi Kanu tells UK. This story you would find on page 7, where the writer there said, to battle for control of IPOP account. Also down at the side of it, you'd see presidential poll, court case Obi Atiku's request to inspect election materials. This you'd find on page 9 of the newspaper. The glaring headline there said, "You disobeyed us, attempted to sacrifice democracy." Supreme Court slams Buhari on Naira crisis. Rather, there said, nullifies a ban on old notes, okays old 200 Naira, 500 Naira and 1000 Naira notes as legal tenders till December 31st. Also, there is judgment triggers a 90% fall in POS charges. Now, that's really an interesting one, considering Nigerians are truly tired of the extortion, you know. And also, we have market women, levy collectors accept old notes. Now, that's really interesting. People are really scared that the market women will not really get the news and are still not accepting the old notes. We also have CBN awaits legal advice. All this you'd find on page 4 of the newspaper. At the top of that, you'd see why we cannot trust INEC again, says Nigerians. Now, they share bitter lessons from Saturday's poll. This you'd find on page 12 of the newspaper. At the bottom of that newspaper, by the left side, you'd see voters turnout. 2023 presidential poll, worst but keenest in Nigeria since 1979. Rather, there said INEC flaws at a glance. Only 25.3 million voters, that's 27%, took part. We have a voters' disenfranchisement and vote suppression, others fingered. Now, this you'd find on page 14 of the newspaper. And also, we'll check entertainment news where Anita Joseph said, "What marriage has taught me." This you'd find on page 22 of the newspaper. We also have, "I grew up in 4 countries as a refugee." This was said by Juliet Ibrahim. And this you'll find on page 20 of the newspaper. And lastly, there's a sad news of oil explosion of 12 killed in Rivers. And this you'll find on page 8. Now, these are some of the stories from Vanguard Saturday.
All right, and with that, we wrap up by reeling out the stories from most of the dailies this particular morning. And then we'll take a quick breather. When we return, we'll take a look at some of these stories. Stick around.
Where you find that a person look like the same,
not necessarily tribal or regional.
but I have said that.
All right, welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now let's take a look at the papers, and we'll take a look at some stories on Daily Trust newspaper. But we'll start with numbers, and on numbers, we have the Nigerians that voted in February 25th presidential election, 25 million. You had 87 million people who actually collected their voters' cards, you know, but then we only had 25 million who voted.
Considering it's been announced that we are about 200 and something million.
And then, yes.
And still counting.
And then 95 million registered, 87 million collected their PVCs, but 25 million voted.
So who are the people that have been talking on social media? I don't understand. How come at least it should be like 50% of the people that collected their PVC should have voted?
Well, there's a lot of voter apathy out there, you know, especially in the north. It's actually been said that a lot of people didn't come out to, you know, vote. So, all right, so let's take a look at more numbers. Persons with disabilities that IFA or Access Nigeria campaign deployed for February 25th elections are 250 only.
At least they made the effort. And I saw that the INEC officials actually give them special treatment, made it easy for them to cast their votes. So that's really nice. It's encouraging.
Treatment, yeah. And then suspected vandals, the NSCDC arrested and 429 prosecuted. 51 convictions between January 2022 to February 2023. That's in a space of 1 year, 1 month. 546.
That's a number.
Yes, especially pipeline, vandals.
That's a number.
Yeah. All right, so the number of, the amount of Naira Central Bank of Nigeria said is total worth of Nigerian banks' assets as at December 2022 is 73.59 trillion Naira.
Interesting.
That's quite a number. That's quite a number. All right, so let's take a look at more stories. Let's take a look at the lead story, which is on every newspaper, talking about the currency swap. There was one particular story, actually, one particular writer that I actually talked about the market women, or even people out there, especially those who provide goods and services, it took them time to be able to accept the new Naira notes. Sure. In the beginning, and now even with the Supreme Court ruling, it will take a while for them to come to the realization that the old and the new Naira notes can coexist, and for them to even accept. But in the end, I don't know what will happen. Coexisting, the old and the new Naira note coexisting, isn't there a large chance of counterfeit, especially when it comes to the new Naira notes?
I feel like in every situation, there would definitely be a chance of counterfeit. I mean, we've seen situations even when it was our normal, the usual old Naira notes, where there have been a lot of, counterfeit like that. We just have to pay more attention, because the CBN gave us the signs or the things that we should look out for in order to know that this is the the real money and the fake one. So we just have to get the knowledge of that, get it. That way you'd know which one. And so that means if someone should give you 10,000, say, you just have to
you look.
Pick it.
Exactly.
It will be more stressful.
You'll be moving around with UV lights to be sure that it's not fake. All right. So, yes. Well, I don't know if the president will also come out to talk about the Supreme Court's ruling, but a lot of people are actually hoping that he would do that, considering that he came out, after the first ruling. Yes, but let's see how it all goes, okay? Now let's take a look at more stories. Now this particular lady, she owes someone or some people an amount of money, but rather than pay, she actually burnt herself. She tried killing herself a number of times, but it didn't work out, and then she decided to burn herself, and in a suicide attempt.
That's really sad. What? Oh my God.
So rather than pay, she decided to kill herself.
That's truly sad. It's a lot of burden. See, a lot of people are fighting depression, and depression comes from when you're not getting what you want. There's a lot of poverty, worry. You're thinking of yourself, you're thinking of your family, but please don't kill yourself. Please don't. I feel like that's why we have family, and in Africa we have more of the family, relationship, friends. Reach out to people. People might not really help you with money, but they can help you with food stuff or some things, and at least you get to pick some, get some things off your chest.
There's a lot of hunger in the land,
so sad.
Honestly. But then, what can you do? A lot of people, again, I think it's just there's so much pressure, so most of them want to live a life that they can't afford. Do you get? So they end up borrowing. And sometimes it's inbuilt, it's in them, it's something they're used to. They end up, even if they have the means, even if they have the money, they want more. So that's greed. Do you get? So while others, they desperately are in need of, help, and thinking of how to pay back is also an issue.
There is no problem without a solution, I believe. So please just try, and instead of thinking to kill yourself, the strategy,
and then the
use that
economy is
thought.
not favorable at all.
It's not, but for how long, Husseina, would we keep blaming economy? We just have to find a way to thrive in that economy. There is always a way, no matter how, million jobs here and there could help.
Okay, all right, so let's take a look at letters, and we'll take a look at the cartoon here. On the cartoon,
This is my favorite part.
yeah, the daughter, daddy and daughter, part.
Yes,
And you
still
have
it
the you have the daughter saying, "Dad, why are you staring at your cup this time?" And the dad had this really, really, very mischievous face, saying, "I am just wondering what Emefiele is doing right now." So many people are actually wondering what the CBN governor
Yes, a lot
is
of
doing.
people are saying that, the Supreme Court and the federal government have been going head to head. So now people want to hear from the federal government. And people don't know who to obey. Should we listen to the federal government or the
Exactly,
Supreme
but
Court?
with the way the governors have actually, tagged along
Pushed.
coming after the federal government, I really, really don't know how it's going to end. And President Buhari just has a few days to go.
leave.
All right, so now there's an interview here with an ex-Boko Haram commander saying or giving tips on how Sambisa can be conquered. So should we say that the capture and the reintegration is a good thing, since we're actually getting information on how to conquer terrorism, especially Boko Haram?
Okay, intel is always good, but the problem is it's on the newspaper. So like everybody is watching, everybody is looking at it, and the same people that we're being given intel about are aware. So there might be, I feel like this should have been on the hush hush, until the ambush is done or something.
All right, so now let's take a look at page 19 of Daily Trust, and it talks about, it's on entertainment, by the way, talking about meet Nollywood's families of actors. And we have the likes of Adebayo Salami. I don't really know who his family is.
A legend.
But apparently his family, is into acting and all that. But I know of Peter Doce, whose son, the last one is...
he has two sons that are actors.
Oh, he has two sons?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I only know one. Okay, I think I remember the other one, but he doesn't really act as much.
He's more of a director, I think, or producer, but then, yeah, he acts too.
All right, and then we have Jide Kosoko, and apparently his daughter is also an actress.
That's true.
Yoruba movie industry. And we have the Njamas, we have the Edochis. Okay, we have the Afolians. Yes, two brothers, one director
those people
and actor.
are amazing.
We have the Amatas, Fred, Zach Amata. We have the Njamas, ex-Empress.
Empress and her brother.
Empress and John. Empress and John Njama. I'm sure he will not forgive me if he should. You should find out. Okay, so now I think a lot of there was a particular story you read on Saturday Vanguard about, still on entertainment by the way, on Juliet Ibrahim saying that she lived in 4 countries as a refugee. I think some of these celebrities come up with stories and I don't know why. No,
you don't believe that?
No, they come up. The last one was Toke Makinwa. Toke Makinwa has always come out to say that she lost her dad, she's an orphan and everything. And then recently she came out to say that she had a heart-to-heart conversation with her dad.
Ooh,
on the elections.
A burn.
Exactly. So she was cancelled immediately.
Could it be maybe she was referring way back?
No, about these 2023 elections is what we're talking about.
I knew there was a time that people were blasting her saying that, it's like she was contradicting herself. 1 minute she was saying she grew up from a poor home. The next moment she's calling out who her father is or was, So definitely there's something about stories that, but I don't think Juliet Ibrahim is someone who talks much. So it might be true. There's something about relevance. People want to be relevant, so they keep pushing a narrative.
Well, this is the same woman who has actually come out to say that she's half white and half Ghanaian. So how was she a refugee?
Let's say she's half white. Maybe she's from Switzerland, but then she's a refugee not in Switzerland. Maybe in
I don't know what you're saying. Let's just wrap up this particular segment now. We'll take a break, and when we come back after the break, we will continue with the show, and we'll have the opportunity to open the phone lines for you to call in, and we'll have a conversation together, by the way. So stick with us. All right, welcome back and thank you for staying with us on Daybreak Extra this beautiful morning. Now today, before we open up the phone lines, we'll be talking about nutrition. Yes, talking about dieting and why people actually diet. If you take a look, around you, you find a lot of people saying, trying to change the kind of food they eat, for one reason or the other. Some for health reasons, some just because they want to lose weight, some because they want to keep fit, and in other cases because the doctor recommends it. And that's why I actually said, health reasons. Now, but the question is, why do you diet? You have a lot of people cutting out some specific kinds of food like rice, yam, anything with carbohydrate, people going on fruit diets, people just eating legumes, people just eating, some people say people are goods, people eating leaves, salads and all that. And but then this is the big question. I know Sumaya actually diets, she does.
Do I?
Yeah, don't you?
I wouldn't call
But
what I
you cut
do
out, okay,
diet.
there's some kinds of foods that you don't eat. What have you successfully cut out of your diet?
Let me see. What have I? What have I?
Well, for example, now nutritionists,
trying to
because there are
think.
lots of nutritionists, even Nigeria now, who would actually, recommend types of food that you can actually eat to have a healthy life, especially when you're approaching a certain age. Right, they advise you to cut down on some kind of foods. They advise you to fill up on fiber, cut down on sugar, make room for healthy fats,
Okay,
which can
now
be
I know.
ghee or
I
something.
remember
Calm
what-
down. That's why I know. I know you remember. I know, to minimize
trying to.
distraction or walk. Some would even tell you to go and exercise. So you have a lot of, younger to older people, even a lot of really, really young people hitting the gym these days.
Of course,
Yes.
of course, to keep fit and all that. People are scared of heart disease and all that, and doctors have made it known that sometimes you might not have enough of fat in your body, but there might be fat, around your heart, and that could be really dangerous. So when you don't know, considering the heart is not on the open for you to see, you have to keep fit. Try to make a bit of movement here and there in order to keep fit and be healthy. And I wouldn't say I cut a lot of things. The only thing that I know that in my home that we try to reduce a lot is red meat. Yes, we've gotten to a point that we're like, okay, let's try
Are
as
you
much as
talking beef
possible.
or goat
Beef.
meat?
I'm talking about beef.
Okay.
Yes, cow. Yeah. Yeah. So we prefer to go on poultry and all that. It's much better, like chicken and all. So, but when it comes to general food, the thing is, when you meet some dietitian, they tell you, how about you pick this, instead of, say, example, yam, but eat it with something in order to have a balanced diet, and it shouldn't be much,
But do you know how
considering it has.
stressful that is? You
Of
have to
course.
run a timetable of what to eat, how much to eat, how many calories you're supposed to eat a day. It's like, maths class or science class all over again.
Well, everything in life it's like that, if you ask me.
It's calculated.
Everything is calculating, of course. So definitely. Okay, I think we have a caller already. Interesting.
Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning, and thank you for joining us. Yes.
Good morning, Savannah.
And Sumaya and Husseina, thank you
Good
so much.
morning.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling. My name is Sumay Samsaki, calling from Yola.
All right, so go ahead and tell us if you diet and the importance of diet. What do you think the importance of diet is?
I was only being placed on diet by my doctor because I'm over 50 years by age.
Okay.
So I was advised to certain foods, a category of food that I would take because I was diagnosed with high blood pressure, and then I have a sugar.
Okay.
So by the moment you reach the age of 50, I think things will start cropping up. So it's really important for you to get your diet, the certain food that you eat and not eat. Which will give you a different food life.
Okay.
But if you are within the range of 30 to 40, you can take anything you like. But the moment you pass 50 years of age, I think it's important for every human being no matter how you want to have something there, it goes with good life.
Okay, but has it positively affected your lifestyle, changing your diet?
I tell my lifestyle, yes. I've got a very good lifestyle. I know I told you that I was diagnosed by cancer and replaced it on certain diet.
All right.
Hello?
Well, yeah, we can hear you. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
We appreciate
but,
this.
This Somalian looks like, what is from Plateau State?
Thank you so much. She actually isn't, but thank you. We appreciate your call. So as for today, your name is Sumaya from Plateau State. All right, so we'll take a quick breather and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Now it's still Daybreak Extra on Trust TV, and we're talking diets. We're talking about reasons why people diet. We're talking about how important dieting is in one's life, and we're talking about should I say the negative? No, not really negative, but mostly the hassles that actually come with dieting. You need to spend a lot of money. And a lot of people don't even have what it takes in this economy as it is. And then you need to cook a lot. You need to be in the kitchen. Why am I thinking of chicken?
Chicken in your mind.
You need to, be in the kitchen a lot. You need to bring your inner chef out. And this is the reason why a lot of people would rather, opt for junk food, than any other thing. And, I try to diet.
Okay.
Sumaya from Plateau.
I'll call you out just so you know.
What? Why? Okay. All right. So good morning. Thank you for joining us. What's your name? Good morning. Can you hear us?
I'll call you out just so you know.
Please move away from your
TV
set.
So we can hear you. All right, I think we lost that caller. Thank you so much. But to do call back, I think he called and said in Akwana.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So Maya from Plateau. All right, so when you're dieting, a lot of nutritionists have actually said you need a protein-rich diet, and you have a lot of people overdoing it, eating only proteins, forgetting that there are other classes of food that
your
you
body
need to
needs.
inculcate. Even the fats is very, very important, and that's why you have all these classes. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, what's your name and where are you calling from, please? Hello, we can hear you. Please stay away from your TV set. We won't be able to communicate if you don't reduce the volume of your TV set, please. What's your name? We're not really getting
All right,
you
do call
there.
back, okay?
I think
Do
the
call us
network
back.
is failing us. Please try and call in. Again,
All right.
the line on your TV screen.
All right, so we're talking about what nutritionists, kind of advice that people have actually gotten from nutritionists. Some have actually said they should not drink their calories, and I think you're supposed to have like 1,200 calories. Is it per day or per
Okay,
meal?
she's a guru. She is a guru in this part.
No,
Tell us more, please.
No, seriously, right? And then you have them saying, when they say don't drink your calories, it means sodas, stay away from sodas, milkshakes. But I had
Okay, hold that thought. We have another caller. Good morning.
Hello.
Yes, hello, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Okay, my name is God's Power.
Okay, God's Power. Thank you for joining us. So what's your thoughts on dieting?
Yeah, I love too much diet.
Okay.
Yeah, like, let's say in the breakfast, mostly is tea.
So how extreme have you tried dieting?
Okay?
How extreme? Have you ever tried it like to the extreme?
Not like that.
Okay, God's Power. Thank you so much for calling in. Well, that was God's Power from Port Harcourt. And of course, there's agreement that, okay, you need to diet. But the difficult part of it, Husseina, is that people don't really understand, the process of dieting. Like from you saying that there is 1,000 and so calorie. And the question a normal, a layman would ask is, how do I measure the calories of food? Things like these are things that people need to know for them to even start the process of dieting. Okay, we have another caller. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, welcome to Daybreak Extra. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm coming from Yemen.
Okay. What's your name, please?
Thank you. Goodbye.
Okay, did he say goodbye? Thank you for calling in. It's good to check in.
All right. Well, he just, called to, announce his presence.
Yes,
and to
I'm
tell us
here.
that he's actually watching. We
Of course.
appreciate you, for watching us. So now, when you talk about some nutritionists, I remember have actually said.
Hello, good morning.
Okay, let's hold on with that one. We have another caller. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Abba Commissioner, calling you right here from the beach town in Kano State.
Okay, welcome to the show, Abba. So tell us your thoughts on dieting.
So we are trying our best, but it's difficult for someone to measure the calorie of diet you eat. Starting from the maybe carbohydrates or protein, fat and oil, vegetable, and so on and so forth. And also another difficulty is the cost of money you spend in buying those kind of foodstuffs. But so we are managing to to balance the diet, starting from the energy you get from the carbohydrates, and also the body building, that is the protein, and also the fat and oil.
So we are trying our best to see we balance the different kind of food we are eating, actually.
Okay, so have you ever been advised to, go extreme on diet?
Yes, that was the time I met my physician in the hospital. He advised me to, suffering from that file. He asked me to balance my vegetable I used to eat and also the pattern oil I used to eat. So I'm trying my possible best, actually.
Oh, thank you so much, Abba, from from Katsina. Sorry, from Kano State, rather.
Kano State.
Kano State, of course. Thank you for joining us. And of course, the trying is the most important thing. He mentioned he tries, and that is really good. We have to keep trying. Just don't give up, okay? It can be expensive, but you have to push.
Yeah, very much welcome.
All right. Thank you very much, Abba, for joining us.
All right, so, but, it's very difficult for us as Africans to actually give up dieting because we Africans believe that, for example, if you're making soup, every culture in Africa believes if you're making soup, the amount of meat that should be in the soup, especially beef, should be more than the soup itself. That's the only way that's what they call a healthy meal. So how do you expect people who are used to eating meat, so much meat, to give up that?
But seriously, yeah. Okay, I think we have another caller. I'll come back and answer that question.
Yes,
welcome. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Good morning. Are you with us? Okay, I think we lost that caller. So yes, you asked how, with the kind of food.
If you go to the east or the south, they'll have beef, fish, chicken, periwinkles, snails in their meal.
Are we talking the Yorubas right now? The southwest?
No, south.
Okay, we have another caller.
Hello.
Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear us? Okay, I think we lost that one. Please keep trying. You can call the number on your TV screen to tell us more about your dieting process, if you have any, or if you have any plans of trying it out.
All right, so there are actually some reasons why you should diet, and this is the reason why you should diet is if you want higher energy levels. Dieting is good for you because eating too much might just make you very
weak
and
and sludge,
slow.
of course.
If you want to improve your mood as well, you should actually diet.
I believe that. I believe that. Yeah, there's
helps.
sometimes you just get this depressed or sad for no reason, and most times you just stand up and instead of eating cakes and all that would make you more depressed or sad
and moody.
And moody, exactly.
If you're moody, you just want to eat cake.
Rather, when you
go.
when you stand up and make that effort of maybe chopping vegetables, making a quick salad while you eat or while you're waiting for
just
it to finish.
The colors,
exactly.
yellow, green,
and take pictures. That could be a motivation. And then you start exercising a bit.
All right, so those who are actually, at risk of diabetes are also, advised to diet.
Stay away from a lot of
yes,
things.
if you want to lower your blood glucose levels as well, you need to diet, and especially keeping away from sugar. If you want to improve your survival rate, especially for people with heart disease, just as you've said, you need to, diet. If you want to decrease heart disease rate as well, you need to diet. If you want to improve your cholesterol ratio, if it's high and you want to bring it low, there's actually a normal amount of cholesterol that your body needs. I don't remember, what it is, but you should actually diet. Yes, if you want to lower your blood pressure as well, if you want to, keep fit or lose weight, which is important as well, because if you're obese, then you're at risk, of a lot of other conditions. Not just the heart, a lot of other conditions. So you need to diet as well. So there are lots of important and positive reasons to diet.
Okay, so we have another caller. Yes, hello. Good morning. We can hear you. What's your name and where are you calling from? What's your name and where are you calling from? We can hear you.
My name is Victor. I'm from Balakri.
Okay, thank you for joining us. So what's your thought?
Yeah, my diet is mostly breakfast.
Okay.
Yeah, just when I have ambition. So breakfast, I should always link to
I think we're losing you. The network is failing. Please try to call back. You know, we would want to hear your opinion on dieting. Yes,
Right,
so Hussein, you were
yes,
saying.
with that, we would actually be wrapping up. But according to the World Health Organization, you know, a healthy diet is essential for good health and also nutrition. And what do you actually need? Simple rules you actually need for healthy diet is, you know, you need to eat how do I call it? You need to eat plenty of vegetables and fruits. You need to eat less fat, cut down on your salt intake, you know, and limit your intake of sugar as well. Because a lot of people end up limiting sugar intake and then increasing salt intake.
Yeah.
Which is really, really wrong, okay?
True.
So if you do this, eat more vegetables, eat more, you know, legumes or fiber, and, you know, you would actually be good at exercise as well. If you don't have the strength to exercise, you can take a walk.
Okay.
Take
Really
walks.
interesting. I'm also learning from Hussein, and we have a last caller that we're going to pick. So who is going to be that lucky
the person is actually
caller?
gone.
Okay.
Yes. But thank you so much for tuning in. I think with that we would actually wrap up.
Okay,
this
and
particular
please
segment.
make sure that before you even go on a journey of dieting that you ask your nutritionist, get someone,
Exactly.
a guru that would guide you through it. I know that even with it being expensive, there is definitely a way that you can find a cheaper way of making it work.
And stay hydrated, drink plenty of water, very
Yes.
important as well.
What she said.
Yes, indeed. All right, we'll be back at the top of the hour.
That's great. You could see.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Daybreak Extra coming to you live from our studio in the city of Abuja. And before we went on a break, we had an interesting, call in about dieting, but now we'll be heading or moving on to Artist of the Day. And understanding, the topic that we'll be covering today will be understanding the creativity and value of art. Now, painting is the expression of ideas and emotions with the creation of certain aesthetic qualities in a two-dimensional visual language. To help us, have a better understanding of the creativity behind his art is Obiechina Stein John. He is a creative art and an entrepreneur, and his artwork cuts across all medium, which is really interesting. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank you.
So take us, through your inspiration, how you find yourself being a painter.
Okay. Inspiration cuts across human experiences. So most of our inspirations are rooted from the things we go through in our daily lives. Say, for example, art in the West is actually inspired by politics, sometimes by fashion, sometimes by music. When you come to Africa, art usually is inspired by pain, by history, by culture, and by progressive societies. When a society advances from one previous stage to the next stage, you find that the experience in the middle of this transition is what creates the inspiration for art. So for artists, art is language for us. So in order to express this language, it's not like spoken language. Well, spoken language, in terms of art, it's more of poetry. The written language of art is where you find writing and novels. The visual aspect is where you try to express your imagination in a way people can see it and understand it, whether it be politically, whether it be emotionally, whether you are grieving or whether you are expressing something beautiful in another dimension. So it's usually, the inspiration comes from the environment because the factors that play in the mind are subject to the environment of the artist.
Okay, so how did you become an artist? Was it self-taught or did you learn it? Did you go through school?
No, it was self-taught. I actually became an artist. I kind of feel like I was born already knowing art, and I can't actually pinpoint a foundation. I've always wanted to express myself artistically, irrespective of the fact that I studied something else in school. But it's like a call to you inside you. It keeps coming back to remind you, okay, this is who you are, and someday you have no choice other than to invest yourself in it and find out, okay, how do I express this call? And when you explore mediums of which you can do that, then the artist comes out fully.
Okay, so what kind of art? What kind of art do you do? What does your work represent?
My work is usually expressive, although I kind of would love on a daily basis that Nigerians are less about the aesthetics and more about the art, because mostly what we practice here is aesthetics, but we think it's art and it's not art. So let's say somewhere like in Europe, if you go to some of the galleries, some Nigerians see some artworks there. Maybe you just take, for example, you see an entire picture with just 2 circles of colors in it, and the Nigerian will be wondering, okay, what is this? Yeah, but because we are more keen on the aesthetics, how it beautifies the environment rather than what it says to us. So my kind of art is it's cut across all platforms. I use every medium I can find to create art, and I do not see art limited to just paintings, drawings, or sculpting. There is art in business. There is art in philosophy. There is art in something I call an intelligent conversation, where you and someone exchange knowledge in a very, very civil manner. It's a form of art to be able to keep your emotions and every form of bigotry aside, your background, your history, and say, okay, let's go on a plain mental canvas and have a conversation and exchange ideas, irrespective of backgrounds, roots, religions, or where we are coming from. These are all forms of art. So I find these things as art as well. If you do a research on most of the great artists in the world, you find very, very, very weird exhibitions. You find exhibitions of people who have sat down and said, okay, look, I'm going to sit here, and they put a sign in front of you and they say, cut me with a razor blade. Yes. And that is a form of
art?
Yes, that is a form of art too.
Cut me with a razor blade?
Yes, there's a razor blade in front of you, and the person says, just do a cut anywhere you want, cut it. And people find it bizarre, insane, but you do realize the art comes from the fact that you are now contemplating, why should I do this? Why should I not do this? The moment you start doing that, the art has begun. So it's an art of human character. Who is going to pull through the mental struggle of saying, okay, I'll be brave enough to cut this person.
Interesting.
So, yeah. So
okay, I would want to tap in your brain. You mentioned that Nigerians are not, keen on the meaning behind the art. So just at the, on your TV, that you can see what does that symbolize, because all I can see is a lot of colors.
So can you go back? Can you go back to the previous art?
Yes, please. Okay, what is this? I can see 3 circles. Now don't blame me. I'm a Nigerian.
And what?
And there's square.
And two rectangles.
Yes, and there's red in between the blue and white and pink.
Okay. So there's a small definition I have, which is not, I won't say it's factual, it's a definition from me, myself, which I say, art is born from nothing, absolute nothing. So if we can express what we call a 3-dimensional way of thinking, where we say, let us, for a split second, position ourselves as God. You can take it from the Quran, you can take it from the Bible, you can take it from any religion you want in the world. And you say you position yourself as God, and you go to the very beginning of anything before there was anything. It starts with nothingness, emptiness, a dark void. And out of it, everything you see right now could be God's expression of what he likes as art. So most times when I do, like what you saw there, it's an abstractive work. It was a work for a client, and they wanted me to play around some abstractive things, and so I said, okay, fine, I will do some random stuff that to you may make no sense, but it's because I placed my mind in this place where there was nothing, and I said, okay, whatever comes first as an image, I represent, and that's why it's abstraction. It just comes from nothing. Now, I recall about 20 to 30 years ago, growing up in Nigeria, most of our folks saw art as demonic because they could not interpret certain things that you put on the canvas. But it's not tied to anything spiritual. It's just the very moment where your mind is empty. What is the first form of expression you can put on a plain surface visually? And that's what I came up with.
Okay, so you actually said something. You talked about making art for your clients, even though it doesn't mean anything to them.
Okay.
Yes. But shouldn't art have a meaning for the clients themselves and
So,
not the artist?
to me, the artist, my arts are like children. For me, they're like my children. So it's not just what it means for me, it is me. It is me living to people. It is a part of me. It is why we put our signatures on them, because this is part of us. This is when we go, when we are dust and nothing is left of us. Anything you can remember us by is pictures, memories, and the art piece. So for them, the clients, art is always interpreted by two people, which is one, the person who sees the art for what it is, and two, the person who sees the art as they are. So most of my, like I said, Nigerian clients, we are all into the aesthetics. So they tell you, okay, I want warm colors. And most times when I'm working for some of them, other than the works I do in terms of exhibition, if I have to do works for client, I put in requests and ask questions of, okay, how do you want the art to make you feel? Do you want to sit down and just stare at it in a puzzled thought and wonder, okay, or do you want to just, at the end of the day, have something to look at and feel a bit, relaxed from everything you went through that day? So it is subject to mostly what the clients want in this part of the world.
Now, did that picture you just painted just made me remember a movie? Movies where you see people with their wine glass just looking at pictures, staring at it for a long time.
Trying to understand what the picture is saying.
And it's in your house. I'm like, what are you doing? It's been there. Okay, so you mentioned exhibition, and I am of the knowledge that you are having an exhibition in New York.
Yes.
Is that it?
Yes.
And so we would want you to tell us, because mostly let's start with Nigeria, for us to know the value of the paint and the artwork.
Is it okay if you put it up?
Of course, I'm sure they would maybe try to put something up, and then we can go on with that.
Okay. I don't know if the picture can come up, so I explain it better. The art it's priceless. It's priceless because, irrespective of the fact there's a value tied to it, it's priceless because it came at a moment where I was in a mental despair. That is because it was painted before the election. And when I stepped out of my house, I did an observation of everyone and the emotional environment, the mood of people. And it's also tied to the fact that I've been around Nigerians for as long as I can remember. And so I was notified about the exhibition early February. I think I can't pinpoint the date, but I was notified about the exhibition early February, and I said, okay, fine. What do I do? So let me tell a story about Nigerians, and that's when I painted it. So it's titled "To Silently Admire Freedom." This is not it. I think it's the next one after this, and that is because to be Nigerian, you only, I don't even know if people imagine, but you only dream of things. It's like a bird in a cage looking at other birds fly around it. So that's what it meant to be. That's what it means to be Nigerian.
To you?
I think to a large number of us. Maybe we may not say it vocally. Maybe we may not be very expressive. Maybe we have coping mechanisms to go by our day and just act like, okay, I can deal with this situation for a couple of more years, or I can find a way to, like we do with Japa, we silently plan it so there's no witch or wizard that's going to come in between it, and then we escape. So we are always in a bid to escape, because everything we desire, admire, and we are is beyond our prison. And that's what that painting is going to be exhibited in New York at the East Village of Art Collections. And the starting price there is $5,000.
Interesting.
Yes, but that does not, like I said, it doesn't mean it's the value of the work. the work is priceless if you understand the emotion of the work. I wish you could come up so I did explain it better, but you would find the figure of a man on the left and the figure of a woman on the right. I had to use a white line expression on their details, and you could see him sitting. There's a fish bowl on his head, and there's just water in it but no fish. So it's that explains the feeling you have when your head is submerged in water. You can't hear.
Okay.
Whatever you say, no one can hear you either. So you're in silence. And he's staring at this woman who's she's dancing. She's in a state of harmony. She's a free self, and all he can do is stare, because that's why he's Nigerian. He's looking at the rest of the world, happy, free, expressing themselves, and he's constrained, and he doesn't know what that feels like. And I think in the write-up of the art, I made a statement where I said, even if he tastes this freedom, he's so used to being subjected, being submissive, being constrained, that he doesn't, the first response is fear of, oh, how long will this last? How long will this be forever? Can I be here for the rest of my life? Can I really? So it's a culture shock for a Nigerian to go outside this country, and we see things and we're like, oh, really? Is this
for real?
Is this for real? Is this really what life outside here is like? And some people, they even look way better before they return. They look extraordinary before they return. And you could see that the things that we call, the things that we deal with as trauma, they end up looking so normal there that our reactions to them are like, it's still a reaction of trauma. I was explaining to a couple of friends about some things I would actually bring up in the future as paintings. When things get better, not now because they may trigger people, but things we do not know are actually mental health issues that we go through, but we do not know. Say, for example, a Nigerian is driving by a petrol station. There's a ringing feeling to fill your tank, even if it's halfway.
Panic buying.
Yes, it starts ringing. Say you've had electricity for 4 days straight. Then your mind starts telling you, okay, this is not normal. But these things are normal every other place in the world. And so we are now getting comfortable with the prison, so much so that when something else different happens, it's a problem. If if we're doing a business and it's going very smooth, we're like, at what point does my village people come in here? You understand? So
I understand.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, from everything you've actually said, it's obvious that your paintings are, the expressions are really, 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 really deep. I want to ask, do you sometimes, once you're done with work, do you sometimes look at your paintings and get scared of what you've done, of the outcome?
Honestly, yes. I'm not scared of the outcome. I am scared of the acceptance, not the outcome of it in physical nature, but rather the acceptance, because I'm in a society that is very political, very religious, and a lot of people claim to be very spiritual. So, yes, and it's not really the outcome. So initially when I came, there was a statement she made about the painting. I won't say it on air, but there was a statement she made about the painting, and I had to say, no, it's not about that. So the first thing people see when they see certain nudish works is, okay, that's where it's going to. And I say, no, you were born like that. If I have to identify you as a doctor, first of all, irrespective of whatever the outside look like, I will have to undress you to tell who you are. The last painting I did, which is called Between Reality and Hope, is it crosses a call across the politics in the world. So you had two figures. On the right, you had a male torso and a female limb downward. On the left, you had a female torso and the male laying down. And everybody was like, okay, have you started taking something you're not supposed to take? I'm like, no, I'm not taking anything I'm not supposed to take. I'm trying to explain to you that we are humans who, whether we like it or not, whether we don't like how this statement comes up, we are hypocrites down to ourselves. We deny the things we like and admire in front of everyone, and behind closed doors, we go searching for those things. And like I usually tell people, I say, look, you want to know Nigerians, come out at night. Don't trust anything they do by daytime. Come out at night, and you'll find everybody's true image and true color. And after the night, the next morning, we speak English, we greet each other very well, and we go about our daily business. So that piece, that last piece, it cut across the political issue of the left in the U.S., the religious issues we have in Nigeria. Like someone said on Twitter the other day, and we're talking, and it's so funny when it comes to conjugal relationships that we don't know tribe, we don't know religion. But when it comes to politics, everybody is just, oh, I am Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa. But I said, well, there you have it.
Interesting. So you mentioned your exhibition starts with $5,000.
Starting price.
Starting price.
So
okay.
From Plateau.
I'm gonna get you later for that. So tell us, because Nigerians are curious. You know, I feel like right now we have gone to a stage where Nigerians are now appreciating artwork. You know, yes, it's becoming more relevant. You're seeing it at home, people want to see it. But then there's this point where you watch in a movie and you see someone putting a painting and there's like a million, trillions of dollars, and you're wondering how. Please explain to us.
What makes it that
What
valuable?
makes it, yes, that valuable?
Okay, most times when I meet young artists in Nigeria, I start questioning, I like, why do you do art? And they're like, I love to paint, I love to draw. Okay, but why? Why? Because I know the system we're in and it urges us to make money. So you may be skilled at something, but you want to give it some monetary value. And I'm like, no, this is, that's not it. So I don't know if it's spirituality, telepathy, or kindnesses, but there's some energy around not just art, but anything you do with passion. It may not give you the results you want immediately, but it waits to see whether you're doing it for the money or you're doing it from the heart. You're being very expressive, and most of us just do things for money. And I thought, look, yes, you'll be good at drawing, but you will not reach the real collectors who want to see these paintings and express it. So every day I go through a lot of research of a world of artists in the world. Recently there was this guy, I'm trying to remember his name, though, sorry, but he did a painting. They were not paintings, they were embroideries. He was in prison and he did embroideries with socks, yes, of the events that happened in prison. And these works are in galleries right now, and they are priceless. Because
socks?
Yeah, socks. Just threads from socks. He used it, embroidered images, and they're so small. You need a magnifier to view them. Whenever you enter the gallery, they give you a magnifier to view them, and they're very interesting works because he did works of prisoners being electrocuted. He did works of prisoners fighting. They were very unique. You know, they were very unique works. So when I meet artists, I tell them, I say, look, it may not pay at the beginning. It sounds foolish to do art in Nigeria. Yes. And I've heard a lot of people say, oh, my mom used to beat me when I was drawing. My dad used to tell me no.
Parents don't encourage,
yeah,
that's true.
They don't encourage that. And I tell them, well, because they don't understand it. Basquiat's work sold for $110 million US. And if you pull up the image, you'll be like, what am I looking at? Yeah, but it's not the image per se, it's the story behind the piece and how the piece came about. So, art, people think art is decor. No. I hope this reaches to all Nigerians and young artists who really understand, and even the Nigerian collectors. Most collectors know this already. Art is not decor. Art is more of an asset. The United States of America spent close to $4 billion in the World War II just trying to save art pieces from Italy and Germany that Hitler was trying to destroy. And that's to tell you how precious these things are.
Okay, well, you're talking about these climbs, right? When it comes to Nigeria, do you think the Nigerian government even, you know...
Do they pay attention or care?
Do they pay attention? Do they even care? Do they value the art?
There are two roads to this, though. I wouldn't ask anyone to ask the government to value art. The government, I don't care what anybody thinks about what I'm about to say, the government doesn't even value people. Why should they value art? So, if they can't value humans, why would they value art? I'm not waiting for the government to value art. It's people who value art. Because people are drawn to art emotionally. When it comes to my last exhibition, each of the pieces they sold for 1,000 naira in Nigeria, and someone picked the entire 5 pieces. Someone picked everything. It was at Jahi here, and I exhibited 5 pieces on the effects of pre-colonialism and after-colonialism on us. And those 5 pieces were taken by one person who saw the value in them, and irrespective of the price. So, and the person is not a foreigner, it's a Nigerian. And so there are people who love art, who have been around the world, who knows the value of art. And the funny thing is, so people don't know that no matter how much you pay for a piece of work, the very moment, if it comes to art, so long as you have the commission letter with the sign of the artist on the piece, and it's authentic, so long as you have that, the very day you buy it, the work starts appreciating in value. So any day it hits the auction market, what gives it that value is who's the artist? Where did the work come from? How long has the work been in the system? These are what gives it appreciation. They look at the style, they look at the symbolism. And you won't believe that, okay, Dora Akunyele's daughter, her work sold for $1 million in the US.
Huge.
Yes, and it was a work of some cut magazines in the shape of a man and a woman. The man is sitting, the woman is just behind him, husband, and it sold for $1 million in auction. And so Nigerians, don't be tricked by the fact that we said $1 million and like, I'll go into art. No, it does not work like that. It doesn't, because even the universe, God and everything, they see through these things. It has to come with passion. You have to, whatever you're painting has to come from within.
And people believe that, you mentioned that the longer the artwork has been in the system, the more it appreciates. People even think that some work tend to appreciate way high after the artist is long gone.
Okay, yeah, but gone, yes, very true. Vincent van Gogh sold only one artwork in his lifetime. And right now, all his pieces, there's nothing below $100,000.
But why is it like that, Joe? Shouldn't I be able to appreciate my work while I'm still alive?
Yes, because the problem with that was, back then, art was, like I said, more subject to the society and how people saw things. So people appreciated Michelangelo for the Sistine Chapel because it was a religious piece of work. But you won't appreciate Vincent van Gogh because as of then, they thought he was mentally ill. Yes. And so no one, saw the value in his work. But years down the line, we just realized this is one of the greatest painters history has. And that's because as of then, people were more religiously inclined. You come down to Africa too, as of the era, if you go to Ibuku in the east, it's where you have one of the best terracotta works in the world. And the white man came here. They went to Edo State. The things we saw as just traditional items, they saw as art, extremely valuable. And they stole these things and they took it back there. Some went into the black market and were sold for huge amount of money, which, funny enough, gives it extra value. Because now to recover it and resell it, even in the legal market, with all the stories being true, gives it way higher value. So the things most times you don't value, you get to see those who have greater knowledge of it valuing it. Young artists right now, I don't think anybody has to die for their work to be valued, although there's just something traditional about the death and the peace.
All right. Well, sadly, we have actually come to a wrap on this discussion. Thank you so much for joining us on Daybreak Extra to talk about art. In this manner, this is like a different type.
Really
yes,
deep.
well, that was Obiechina Stein John. He's a creative artist and also an entrepreneur, and his artwork cuts across all mediums. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, it'll be time for entertainment. Stay with us.
My name is Ekemata Nkemdilim from Enugu State in Igbeze North local government area. So I'm from Olido in Igbeze North local government area, Enugu State. I studied my primary school there at Olido. The same thing with my secondary school. I later further to College of Education, Federal College of Education, Hamufu. Then after obtaining my certificate, then my NC certificate, I got married and I found myself doing this business with my husband. Here you can see is bamboo that I'm selling. And this bamboo is for, let me say, building of houses, like upstairs or downstairs with that have too much height. Then it is also used for this scaffolding and carrying the decking. Or some these people selling beer bar or hotel also buy it from us to beautify their business environment. Well, I have been into this business for 4 years plus now. And it is my husband that introduced me to the business. And see myself inside the business, I still love the business. Though it's a bush business, it's not an English business. It's a bush business. But I love what I'm doing here. For one bamboo, at times, like now, we are selling 900, 850 per one. But that was during rainy season, like let me say this forthcoming rainy season, bamboo used to be scarce due to the bad road. We go to Ondo, some go to Benue, some go to eastern parts to carry the bamboo. But due to the bad road in our country, at times you will pay for one trailer of bamboo. You will not be able to see as in the trailer will not be able to reach here for more than 2 weeks. At times it will pass that 2 weeks. Do you understand me? Due to bad road. But during that time, we will buy bamboo there like let me say 700. Will be due to the scarcity, we will be selling it like 1,000 something. But during this dry season we are into now, bamboo is everywhere. Then the price of the bamboo came down. We are selling 850, 900 per bamboo. But for us to pay for the transport and pay for the doing whole out, loading it inside the trailer, then paying for the transport. For them to convey it from that side to this place, it will cost us like each trailer will cost us like 1.6 million up per trailer. The challenges that we are facing sometimes is that like I call this business a bush business. Let me say, like last year, let me use myself as an example. Last year I paid the one customer that I have there that used to give me bamboo there. I paid him money for 2 trailers. So he will cut the bamboo. Instead of giving it to me, he will be selling it out to another person due to the scarcity of bamboo in order for him to make money. So sometimes we will give them money, they will not bring the bamboo, they will sell it to another places. So that's the challenges that I'm facing. To be sincere, I don't think I will be able to leave this business. So it's a nice business to me. But let me say, if you came into the business newly, you will not understand what they are doing. Do you understand me? Like the first time I started the business, I stayed up to 1 month without having any customer, except if my husband's customer come. So when I stayed like 2-3 months, then I began to get my own customer. To be sincere now, I'm a friend to many engineers, many carpenters as well. So I don't think I can leave the business for now. For now, if I have enough capital in doing this business, instead of buying 1 trailer, I will be. Some people used to buy like 7 trailers depending on the capital you have. Do you understand me? But for me, if I have enough fund to continue with the business, I will be able to buy, let me say, 3 trailers or above once. Even if this portion that I have is not okay for me, I will be able to expand the business to other places. And again, I would like to have my own vehicle, that is 814 or this pickup, so that when I will have it and I will employ a driver that will be driving it for me. At least when I have a customer, to carry the bamboo from here to the site will never be a barrier for me. For me, I do collect transfer. Facing this cashless issue, all the market that I'm selling is through transfer. At times they will transfer money to you today, you will not be able to receive the credit alert till let me say like 3 days or 2 days. Well, as a graduate that I am today, I cannot compare myself with undergrad, as in people that did not further in their education, because my experience is far different from their own. Due to the knowledge I obtained from that place, then I added it here, and the thing is helping me a lot. I have achieved many things. First of all, I don't beg for food. The house that I'm living, I built it by my money. That is the money I earn from this business that I'm doing now. So I'm a landlady of my own. I'm no longer living under somebody's roof. I'm living under my own roof. So I have achieved so many things. I can pay my children's school fees, feed them without somebody's help. It's very, very difficult for me, because like today, I woke up around 4:30. I have to prepare them and take them to school. Then I will come back and prepare myself and come to the shop. Then around 4:30, I will go to their school, carry them back. Then I will feed them and come back to the shop. Well, what I have to tell you people is that if you see somebody outside or people that are watching me, if they like my business as I have explained to everybody, if they like my business and they want to be, as in become part of the people that is doing the business, if they can come to me, I will introduce them to the business as well. My name is Ekemata Nkem Dilem. I'm from Enugu State, Igbeze North Local Government Area.
All right, welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. That was my daily hustle, and with that, we'll move on to entertainment, and we have Sumaya on standby for that.
No, she said Sumaya on standby for that. Okay, well, let's start with what's been happening on entertainment. Just a lot has been happening, anyways. We'll start with T-Badge, that is Tolani Badge of the BBA Naija, who said that she refused to announce that she got a new house. You know, it came in as one of her fans telling her that I know you don't want to show off, but please, Badge, do a vlog of your new house. And she replied, you know, on her Instagram story saying, I will see, but as I get older, I learn to protect my blessings. Subtle post here and there is good enough. But then the netizens, people are like, but you just already did. You know, she's saying that she
accepted.
Yeah, she accepted.
If the fan hadn't, you know,
told her, yeah,
or you know,
her.
brought that up, she wouldn't have said anything. But she accepted, but she did not, because when you, in fact, these days, a lot of celebrities don't even, they just show off. A lot of celebrities love to show off, and this is one of the reasons why society today believes in quick money. Do you understand? So they love to show off, but she wanted her privacy, and that was the reason why she decided, no, I will not show up. But she still accepted that, yes, she got a house, but it doesn't mean I'm showing it off, which is okay. Okay.
People are still, it's still okay. Yes, I get it, because people need to understand that as much as you're a celebrity, you have to talk to people, you have to address your people. And I think one way or the other, people close to her already know.
Celebrities are also, you know, allowed to, you know, keep some things to themselves. They're allowed their own privacy. It's not everything that happens in your life that you come out and let people know, because the internet is looking for blood.
True.
Is bloodthirsty. And in most cases, even if you feel today the internet supports you in one way or the other, just do one little thing. Mistakes. And then they X you, they cancel you. Do you understand? So
everyone forget all the greatness that you've done. That's true.
Even human beings, it happens that way, not talk of internet.
Considering, you know, about showing off or keeping some of your stuff private, considering what happened to AKA, you know, about him posting where he was at that time, and that made him vulnerable. Yes, it's really sad. But anyway, congratulations to T-Badge. She's a DJ. Moving on, you know, sometimes.
Oh, she's a DJ now.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
You know, she discovered her passion after the BB Naija house, and it's really interesting. You know, when you get to a particular point in your life, and you be like,
you're never too old.
I'm 35, and it's not too late for me to.
Too late. Even at 40, you can actually discover a
new talent, new way to make money. It is allowed. Please, just go at your own pace. Don't let anybody rush you. So next we have again another BB Naija celebrity. We have V. So V said that she's nobody's ex. Precisely, she woke up, you know, yesterday, just decided to just go on social media and said, if anyone tell you I am their ex, punch them in the mouth hard, because I am nobody's ex. Okay, so there's actually this particular trend of a lot of people saying, as long as we've dated and we're over, there's no point people knowing that we actually dated. So we're not exes. We just dated and it's in the past. So there's nothing like ex. We move forward. Yeah, people are like adopted that style. People are like artwork Joe Hussein. How so? Like most times, people, when you're in a relationship with them, they don't value you as much. But immediately you exit that relationship, and especially you start doing stuff, you know, you start winning, then all of a sudden everybody wants to claim, oh, I know Husseina. I dated her, you know, we dated way back. So now she's saying that, okay, maybe I dated someone way back. It's done. So don't come here bragging with me. I feel like that was the message she was trying to portray. You know, don't call me. Now I'm hustling my hustle. Don't call because you want to, you know, tap in my own shine and you start claiming I'm your ex.
Very true.
Plus, we know how X thing works now.
I don't have exes either, so neither do you. So,
Entirely.
since they're in the past, we're in the present. We're in 2023.
Focus, please.
What is happening now? Present.
People are thinking that she threw a subtle shade at her ex, which was another
doesn't have
baby.
an ex.
Sorry, at
She doesn't
someone
have
that she
exes.
dated before. A former housemate, Neil. They had a lot of relationship publicly, and people are saying that. But how can you say we saw your ex like on our face for a whole 3 months? How can you deny that particular person?
They're just getting to know each other. It was a beginning.
They're
the
friends.
phase. Yes, they're friends.
All right, so we have another story. It says that JJC, Funke Akindele's ex-husband. Okay, we mentioned that we won't call anyone ex, but then
Okay, no, this one is an ex, because they
have
married.
2 kids together.
They married and they had children. They lived a life, husband and wife.
Yes.
So after breaking up with him, but the son actually threw a shade at the new wife, saying she doesn't know what she's in for.
That son has always been trouble.
He was the one that caused trouble with
with their relationship. Yes. Okay, first of all, there was rumor that started, surfacing, and he hasn't come out to accept, or deny that he is married, and allegedly that he's married to, is it Ebira or Igala lady from Kano State? I think she's based in Kano, so the wedding took place in Kano, and he didn't want to make it public, so there was no pictures of him. It was only the bride. He shied away from any video or picture. I think there was only one that just
when he took the picture
with group of friends. Exactly. That people cannot.
Blue agbada.
People cannot easily pinpoint. Is he the groom or the friends of? I think he was trying to play on that. But he's a celebrity. I mean, JJ Skills is someone that has been on our ear considering his music career and the other businesses he had with Funke. So him trying to hide it, allegedly.
As a celebrity, you can't hide it. Even Tolaba, somebody
exactly. So he videos, pictures are coming out from the wedding.
What my own problem now is, why would the son, come out and say the wife she doesn't know what she's in for? What did the father ever do to him? Why is he always after his father's wives?
Ooh. Honestly, I feel like there's a when a child has a very bad, strained relationship with his father, and then any other person around the father has to take the blame for that. Yes, I feel like his aim in life is just to hurt that father in any way and people close to him. So he took, of course, the opportunity to hit back on this one again. He said that she is wife number 100. I'm still counting. And also he claimed that his name is Andres and he does not go by Bello anymore because he's not a Bello. So, like, for me, people tend to blame the son more, but I'll put it on the mom because the mom also lashed out on Funke. While they were having issues, and
she probably complains about her as well. So if the son didn't see that happening, then
we tend to when you portray your anger or your emotions openly to a child, of course that child will take it and times it, times 2, because he loves his mom and she keeps telling him exactly.
Yeah, they tend to dwell on it.
And
he lives with them forever. By the way, he does.
You as an elderly person or someone older, you'd have sense of saying, okay, you know what, let me just let it go, bygone be bygone. But then for kids, they tend to hold on to that thing like forever. So that boy is hurting. I feel like he should go to therapy. And we haven't heard anything from Funke, which we know that people are not expecting her to come out because
she hardly talks.
Yes, she's like Beyonce.
After the divorce, she didn't say anything.
She doesn't address anything.
She didn't give a reason why. Even after her first husband's divorce, she didn't really say anything. They just parted ways.
True.
So she doesn't really speak. Like, think whatever you want. I've moved on with my life.
I don't care. People are thinking it was Wizkid and her that were on that table, but Wizkid just exited that table. So yeah, it's really interesting. Next story, we have Toyin Abraham. Toyin have been dragged all through from the pre-election to election to post-election. They've dragged her for supporting a certain candidate, and Nigerians, netizens have been throwing shades at her, with some people threatening her that she has to you know, when she releases her movie because she's a producer, that nobody's going to watch. But then her fans still come under that comments and be like, you know what, we have her, we've got her back, we're going to watch her movies, and we don't care. It
doesn't matter for some fans, you know, they follow blindly. You know, it doesn't matter what you do. Even if you kill somebody, some people will say, oh, I'm still behind you, I don't believe. Even if you come out to say I did it, they'll say, like, I don't believe you, no wahala, whatever.
Mental issues or
have
something.
them like that.
And plus, you know, her fans, she came out saying that she has loyal fans that would watch her movies, people that know that they need to respect her choice. And lately, she's this kind of person that I feel like she's this I don't care kind of person. Like, she's ready to take on the shade. Let's not forget, no publicity is bad publicity. So she's getting it a lot. And she came out to, according to, you know, a blogger says that she updated her CV. Added a lot of things, and among that she added her candidate's name, saying that she's his baby, she's a speaker, influencer, and the most bullied for her choice. And people are saying that tag is for Eniola Badmus. What do you think?
But Eniola Badmus supports the same thing she does.
No, right? You know, when she said that she's the most bullied, people are saying that no, she isn't the most bullied. Eniola is the most bullied.
Well, I actually think neither of them are as bullied. When you talk about the Yoruba actresses, neither of them are as bullied as Mercy Aigbe. That one, she drinks bully every day. Even when last time she went on a vacation with her husband, and they're like, what is this? Oh, do my like do you get what I'm saying? So she's the most bullied, so they should just have it.
She's been under the radar for a while,
so every single time she does something, people do not seem to find it funny. You know, she's been called a husband snatcher, she's been called a prostitute, she's been called a lot. Do you understand? But you know,
has hit her hard to a point that, you know, she went to a wedding and people were subtly shading her. It has to, you know, it ended up in a fight and all that. It was really chaotic, and I don't think, for what, you know, allegedly they say that she did, I think that she's going to be dragged, because Nigeria don't forgive the second wife thing easily. Yes. She's going to be you know, continuously being called out for that. Okay, so next story we have Ira Star.
Okay, yeah,
Ira Star and Rema.
Okay,
fine lady. Yes, she's been trending. People are naming her the queen of Afrobeat now. And even though some are, you know,
after
contesting, say
Tiwa is still the queen.
Saying Tiwa, of course. Some were saying Tiwa.
She's the
Tiwa
princess.
has to be.
Let's give her princess. Princess Ira.
Okay. Okay, so people are talking, you know, she went to an interview, a radio interview, and people were, the interviewer speculated that there was a rumor about her and Rema, yes, dating. And she looked confused, like, what? I've never heard of that rumor before.
But they're actually almost never together. If you follow her, what do you call it, her timeline, I don't. I have a friend who, you know, works together with her, but you know, they're almost never together. They're almost never at the same space.
No, considering the radio is in Kenya, I feel like it was just a story from afar that they decided to just cook up a fan.
So yeah,
like,
okay, both of them, they are the same age group and everything. Let's see.
Yes, let's match them, or maybe we can draw them together by just, you know, thinking it. Well, she denied it. Okay, and lastly, the story we have is Chris Brown. Chris Brown has been trending, you know.
Chris Brown, but he would actually, you know, replace it. He'll replace it. Why was it
okay, there's a comment that came after the story, but then let me just tell you what Chris Brown is trending for this time around. So Chris Brown is known, like recently he started doing, you know, performance, should I say, giving extra care or attention to his fans. So when he's performing, he would pick one of his female fans and put her on the chair, and then he would dance around her, you know. Because he's breezy, he's a free giver. So he picked on this lady, and I'm thinking that this lady perhaps has a very serious relationship. So she was acting all unbothered with her phone.
No, she was interested in the first place.
Yeah.
But then, you know, she just decided to
act all. She just, no, I don't think, see, there's difference, and there's difference between holding your phone like this and getting.
Okay, if you're holding, is it possible that, you know, while she was on stage, because I'm sure a lot of other people were actually watching, you know, her notifications started coming on, and like, oh my God, is is that you, babe, and everything. And she was trying to reply, and then he snatched the phone and
then yes, he needed the attention, so
yeah.
he flung the phone, and people were like, "What?" And one comment.
But when he was alone dancing with her, she gave him the attention. It was when his other dancers, the backup, came that she decided to split the attention with the phone.
Who split attention for Chris? Like Chris Brown is giving you all the attention. Who does that?
God.
No.
God.
Wit and Breezy don't accept that. See, a netizen said, I cannot believe that whenever I try to defend Chris Brown, he does something new again.
Exactly.
It's so crazy.
Well, Chris Brown, thank you so much for wrapping up our show. With this, we actually closed the curtain on Daybreak Extra. It was fun while it lasted. We'll do this again, not this weekend because of the gubernatorial election. Yeah. So upper weekend, we'll definitely do this again. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman.
And I am Sumaya Abubakar. Stay blessed and be happy. Have a lovely weekend.